कृष्णपादाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome everyone. So today we are commencing our sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and yesterday we completed the fifth shloka, fifth chapter, and so this is the last chapter for this unit. So as we know, the essence and the goal of our life, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, is to perform uninterrupted devotional service to Supreme Lord, because it is the only this kind of bhakti which can lead to satisfaction of soul. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So Srimad Bhagavatam is describing that the end result is the total satisfaction. So soul is looking for satisfaction. Soul is looking for joy. And the only means to attain it is bhakti. So in today's age, like in the age of now, uh, we know this Pakistan war is going on, and everyone's mind is tuned in to see what Pakistan will do, what India will do, how India threw missiles, which all people died, how people are very curious to know about this. So we find that especially, but no matter how much news we find, after some time we hear this news, all this news becomes stale. This news goes away, some another news comes. So people's mind have unlimited reasons in this world to be dissatisfied. Students are dissatisfied with the teachers. Parents are dissatisfied with the performance of children. Spouse is satisfied with husband. Husband is satisfied. Countries are dissatisfied with one another. Today somebody becomes a friend of someone, and tomorrow it may become. So modern age, it provides us numerous reasons to satisfy numerous means. So a lot of facility has been provided to all of us to satisfy the demands of our senses, but there is no care for the soul. Senses are being pampered like anything, but there is no the demands of souls are not satisfied. So much amount of internet data is available, Instagram, Facebook, so much amounts of footstep is available to satisfy the tongue, but yet the soul remains dissatisfied. We are not yet satisfied in our life. We have explored everything in this world. So what is this called as satisfaction? It appears that satisfaction never comes. No matter what all things we do in life, satisfaction does not come only. So, is it that satisfaction comes only to few people, or is it that we can also be satisfied in our life? So, it is said bhakti to Shri Krishna is the only means to attain satisfaction in life. But sometimes it may happen. that even after becoming devotee, I'm not yet satisfied. Yes, it can happen. So, what are the possible reasons even after becoming devotee, coming to Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, we are still yet dissatisfied? So, there could be some possible reason the way we are doing bhakti in our life. So, we have to explore. So, first is we may begin our journey in bhakti with right intentions, but slowly, we lose the sight of the goal. That what is the goal I want to do? The goal is not even our own satisfaction. The means is not a satisfaction. Satisfaction is a natural result of bhakti. So sometimes we are too much eager. Oh, I want to be satisfied. I want to be satisfied. But that is not the what we want to attain from bhakti. Satisfaction is the byproduct of bhakti. So sometimes we are doing bhakti also with the intention that I want to be satisfied. I want to be satisfied. So the goal has become the means. So the means has become the goal. Second is why we may not be satisfied in the life. We may be thinking less of Krishna and more of my thoughts and plans. So I may have certain plans, and I know Krishna may help me to fulfill my plans and desires. This may be the attitude in bhakti, and that is why we may not be feeling really happy. Third is we might be indulging in sense gratification still, and that's why we are not able to be satisfied and happy because the bhakti is not giving the desired result. So now, or am I comparing myself with others? I am actually happy, but a mind has a tendency to compare with other people. What all things they are doing, why I am not able to attain the same thing what they are doing. So it is said the discontentment and the dissatisfaction is a gift of modern social media. No matter, you will never be satisfied if someone is watching too much social media. Why? Social media is designed in such a manner that you will be always upset with yourself because they will show something which is better than you. Oh, you don't have this job? Even if you have got job, they will say if you have not got this job, you are unlucky. Or if you don't have this shampoo, you are unlucky. So social media always makes us compare with what we don't have. That is the way social media is designed. So, and we ourselves go to social media and we invite dissatisfaction in our lives. We go there and we see we want to be looking more better than what we are. We want better job than we are. A person wants better friends, better wife, better husband. So, the social media it produces discontentment. So now, how to see the spiritual dissatisfaction? If after coming to bhakti, we are feeling dissatisfied. So, is there any room for dissatisfaction in bhakti? Yes, we must be always dissatisfied in our bhakti and in our attempts to serve Krishna. We should never say, now, Prabhu, I am satisfied. I have served Krishna enough. I have chanted enough. No, this dissatisfaction is very good. To be not satisfied with bhakti, the kind of preaching, the kind of welfare activities which we have done, we should be. But we should be dissatisfied. What we say, we should be satisfied with whatever comforts, pleasures, and Lord has provided us in this body. And in this regards, one of the very important thing for a devotee is his dealing with mind. The mind, the mind plays a very crucial role in the life of a sadhaka. So, in the fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has been speaking about. So, if you see, there is one thing which is very common in third, fourth, and fifth chapter of Gita. Okay, so if you see third, fourth, and fifth chapter. So, in third chapter, it was spoken as, oh, don't too much think about gnana. Don't think about gnana. Karma is very important. Demigods, please the demigods, you will get everything. Do that, do this, almost it is. So karma and gnana, they were shown as totally different paths. In the fourth chapter of Gita, it was said, okay, karma and jnana could be they are two different paths which may lead to similar goal, but karma is possible for you. Don't think the glories of jnana are given, So karma will lead to jnana. Don't worry. Don't think about jnana too much. If you do karma, it will lead to jnana. Now, in the fifth chapter of Gita, was spoken is it was spoken that okay, actually, you may be engaged in jnana, but the true sannyasi is the person who is karma, who is nishkam karma. He is true sannyasi. Not that ki somebody may be jnani, but he's meditating on the desire for sense gratification. Now, sixth chapter. So it was said, what is true sannyasi? I understand jnana is better or karma is better, but the true sannyasi is the one who is nishkam karma yogi. That was being spoken in the fifth chapter. Now, sixth chapter begins with a similar theme, but Krishna adds, actually, there is no difference at all. There is no difference whether you are doing Nishkam or whether you are doing this one. Ultimate because both are leading to same result. So now the path itself has become. So earlier two paths were there. And one path was better, one path was not so better. Now both the paths have become better. It is said ultimately both are leading to same path only. And one more path is added now. That is Ashtanga Yoga. So in the last chapter, in the yesterday's discussion, Krishna added this word called as yogi. Yogi. Till now he was talking about Nishkam karma, but now yogi word has come. So yogi word is also referring to Ashtanga yogi here. So now why this sixth chapter has suddenly come? Because Arjuna might be thinking that there are different paths. Krishna spoke about Jnana path, Krishna spoke about Karma, Nishkam Karma path. But we also see so many sages, they practice Hatha Yoga, they practice gymnastics, they practice pranayam, and by this they control senses. And Arjuna Krishna spoke so much about control of the senses, control of sense gratification desires in the fifth chapter. So naturally, whenever it is told to control the senses, body, mind, and all this, we also get sometimes desire. Maybe I think I should also try for yoga. Nowadays, you see in the society, social media, there are so many people who are very famous who tell this control and that control, so many exercises they give. So natural thought comes, okay, let me also try it. I think I tried sufficient of chanting Hare Krishna and I tried reading Bhagavad Gita, but it appears that my mind is not yet controlled and my senses are not yet controlled. So let me little bit do some pranayam, this, that. So even a devotee may get such desires. So in the sixth chapter of Gita, Arjuna is very nicely clarifying. Sorry, Krishna is very nicely clarifying. So the entire sixth chapter of Gita is spoken only with one intention. You know what? Just to tell the impracticality of yoga, impracticality of yoga in this modern setup. So how Ashtanga yoga is almost impossible in Kali Yuga. With this intention, the sixth chapter of Gita is spoken. So as we go ahead and read the sixth chapter, you will come to know, you will see it means to be a yogi. So if you want to follow the Patanjali Marga, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, at max one can improve his health. One can improve his health and maybe some cold problem, digestion problem, that is okay. But if you want to attain for this path of Ashtanga Yoga, just let's explore the sixth chapter of Gita. So the sixth chapter of Gita has an acronym called as easy. Easy. So
Prabhuji, last verse is remaining.
yeah, yeah, we'll take it.
Yes.
So the last sixth chapter of Gita has this called as yogi, easy. So Dhyan Yoga is not at all easy, or Ashtanga Yoga is not at all easy. But now we are giving this acronym easy to tell what is actually easy. Ashtanga Yoga is not easy, Jnana Yoga is not easy. So the sixth chapter of Gita is going to tell us the acronym called as easy. Just to tell us that it is not at all easy. This is not easy that by which you can remember like this. So the first few verses, so there are four sections into this. The first few verses they discuss about enemy or friend. Is mind our enemy or is mind our friend? That is what being discussed in the first 8-10 shlokas. Then A for Ashtanga Yoga, the path of Ashtanga Yoga is being mentioned here. Then S for what is success and what is failure in path of yoga. And Y stands for who is the best of yogi, the best yogi, yogi who is best. So by this you can remember the sixth chapter of Gita by this acronym called as easy. So is mind our enemy or friend? How to make our mind enemy or friend? Okay, if you want to really explore the path of Ashtanga Yoga, what is the method? And what is the success and failure in this path of yoga? And what is the who is the yogi? Who is the best of all yogis? So by this the 47 shlokas are there, and all these shlokas will get over by this four themes. Okay, so yes, we'll continue with our last shloka. The last chapter concluded with Bhukta Ram Yagya Tapasam. So our Kaushik Prabhu is going to present for about it. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Tejas Prabhu, I have sent you PPT. Can you please share?
Yes, bro. 1 minute. I will
Prabhuji, shall I should directly start explaining now because we have read the verse yesterday.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
shall I?
You can read the shloka and translation. That's
Okay,
good.
Prabhuji.
Then I can start.
Yes.
You have sharing rights?
Prabhuji, Tejas Prabhu is sharing. Actually,
I'll share for you.
भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति. A person in full Krishna consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries.
I can give you, we have, you can yourself also share Kaushik Prabhu in case sharing rights are given. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. He has shared, Prabhu. Yeah. Slide number 2. So, in this particular shloka, I have taken from the PPT of Radhesham Prabhu and from the lectures of Radhesham Prabhu, whatever I have prepared, mostly is from his content only, Prabhuji. So, in this shloka, Sridhar Swami asked a very interesting question in the starting. Then, because in the previous shlokas, we are seeing that one can attain liberation by Ashtanga Yoga, in the sense that by practicing Ashtanga Yoga, one can control one's mind and it is favorable for liberation. But then Sridhar Swami asks, does desire, controlling desire and anger from all sides, can it give liberation? So the answer is no. Just by controlling desire and anger, one cannot get liberation, but it is favorable for liberation. Unless one understands this 3 point formula or doesn't applies it, there is no possibility of liberation. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has very wonderfully explained each sentence or each word of this particular shloka. So the first word is Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. Means Krishna is the enjoyer of both Yagya and Tapas. Yagya means sacrifice and Tapas means austerity. So normally we can see that sacrifices are done by the householders. They are doing sacrifice. They are doing charity. So karma yogis are normally doing sacrifices, and Gyan yogis are doing austerities. So for both of them, the object of worship is Shri Krishna. So in that sense, Krishna says that Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. I am the object of worship for both Karma Yogis and Gyan Yogis. Then second is he says Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the proprietor and the controller of all living entities. So here Baldev Vidyabhushan has very wonderfully taken the word Maheshwaram as the lord of both Lord Shiva and Brahma. Actually, the actual word of the meaning Maheshwaram is the lord of all living entities, but Baldev Vidyabhushan has taken Mahesh as Lord Shiva also. So is the Lord of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. And is the great controller. In Ishopanishad also in the first verse we see Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatam Jagat. Means the Lord is the proprietor and controller. Everything belongs to Lord and belongs and owned and controlled by the Lord. There also the word controlled is used. So here also Sarva Loka Maheshwaram does not only means proprietor, but indirectly it means controller also, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So from here we can understand that which are the people who want to control. They are the yogis, because by siddhis they want to control. But through this, Krishna is telling the yogis that I am the supreme controller. So thus he becomes the object of worship for the Ashtanga yogis also. Next. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is the supreme friend of all living entities. And not only by giving them food, clothing, shelter, but also by giving them instruction to Vedic scriptures and through Bhakti Yoga. He is the supreme friend who is always trying to deliver the living entities, who is always residing in the heart of living entities, ready to instruct them in the science of God and ready to take them out of this cycle of birth and death. So thus he is the Suhrid, he is the best friend, and thus he is the object of worship of devotees. Because for devotees, Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti. He is the friend of all the devotees. So if somebody may tell the people that, oh, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, he is the supreme enjoyer, then the people may become envious of this. But it is seen that though Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, but he takes great enjoyment in washing the feet of Sudama, in get bound by Mother Yashoda, and in become the charioteer of Arjuna. Though Krishna is the proprietor of all living entities, but he get great enjoyment in making his devotees as the proprietor. Just like when he killed Hiranyakashipu, he made Prahlad as the king. When he killed Bali, he made Sugriv as the king. When he killed Ravan, he made Bibhishan as the king. When he killed Jarasandha, he made his son Sahadev as the king. And when he annihilated the Kaurava dynasty, he made Pandavas as the king. So through all these examples, we can see that Krishna very much like to make his devotees as the proprietors, though he is the ultimate proprietor, but he is the supreme master. And similarly, in case of friend also, we can see that Krishna has made Guha, who is of the Nishad race. Ram has made him his friend. And Krishna has also made Sudama as his friend. And we can see that in one of the verses of third canto, Lord Hanuman is saying that we are monkeys and we do not know how to talk. We do not have any gentlemanly qualities. But how Lord Ram has made us as his friend. So we can see that Lord is very eager to make everyone as his supreme friend. And the last is Nyatva Mam Shantim Rachyati. Krishna cannot be known just by Sattva Guna. From Sattva Guna, one can step forward to be knowing Krishna, but Krishna can be known only by Bhakti. Bhakto Sime Sakachiti Rahasyamedam Uttamam. Thus, all these yogic processes find their perfection in Bhakti only. And that we are going to see forward. Yes, next slide, Guruji. Yeah, just this is very interesting analysis which is given by Shripad Madhvacharya in our Bhagavatam only 11.2.29. In the purport written by Prabhupada disciples, they have quoted Madhvacharya. So Srila Madhvacharya has given an elaborate description of the process by which the material miseries arise. So what is the problem in by not understanding these three things? So that we will see. When a conditioned soul identify himself with the gross material body, then he undergoes the miseries of drowsiness and unquenchable sexual desires, which will burn his mental peace and serenity. When the conditioned soul identifies with prana, he will suffer from hunger. And by identifying with mind, he will suffer from panic, fear, and hankering. If he identifies with intelligence, then he will suffer from existential bitterness and frustration deep within the heart. And if he identifies with false ego, then he will feel inferiority complex by thinking I am low. And if he identify with the process of consciousness, he will be haunted by the memories of the past. So all these different identifications cannot give one peace. One has to identify himself as the servant of Lord. And by these three identifications, which is told in this particular verse, then one can attain real peace. But all these different identification have their different byproducts in the form of suffering. That's why in the verse 5.25, which was explained by Vivek Prabhu, it is told that when we preach, the greatest welfare activity can be performed by making people identify as the servant of Lord. Because all the welfare activity which are getting performed is increases either one's bodily identification or identification with the mind in case of schools and colleges, and identification with the intelligence and false ego. But those activities which are increasing one's identification with the soul and Krishna, though they can only bring real peace. Next slide. So finally, the most wonderful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. We will see it in the next 2 to 3 minutes only. So Srila Prabhupada has started his purport with that the conditioned souls are very anxious to attain the peace in this world. But the ways of peace which they are applying are only giving them miseries. Just like Prabhupada very wonderfully quotes that United Nations are trying to unite the people, but the number of flags are increasing. So United Nations can never bring real peace because they are not applying the knowledge which Lord has given in the scriptures. Second, now Prabhupada is very wonderfully explaining that the 6 points by which one can attain real peace. So the first point one has to understand that Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary. Means everything which we are doing, we should do for the satisfaction of Krishna. Second, he is telling that one should understand Krishna is the greatest. And in Muslims also they say La illa illillah, means there is nobody equal to or greater than Krishna, than Allah. He is the greatest. And we also say Asama Urdhva. Now living entity, now Prabhupada every time in purport, most of the time Prabhupada said this sentence that the living entity is trying to become the lord of the master of everything he surveys. But this is a problem. Actually, the living entity is under the stringent rules of material nature, but in illusion, he is thinking that I am the master of everything I survey. And thus, failing to understand that Krishna is the greatest, he put himself into the great situation, and thus he is constantly in frustration deep within the heart. Third, one should understand that Krishna is the master of Maya. I am not the master of Maya, I am under Maya, and Krishna is the master of Maya. But by serving Krishna, one can also cross Maya, and that we can see in the verse Daivi Esha Gunamai. In the second point of C, he is the master of Maya. It is said that unless one understand these bare facts, that Krishna is the Lord, I am his servant, and I am under material nature, he is beyond, it is not possible to achieve the peace either individually or collectively. Next, Prabhu. Prabhupada went on to say that how to do work in KC, Krishna consciousness. So from the beginning of this chapter, we are saying that one has to work in KC. So working in Krishna consciousness means accepting Krishna as the predominator. With full knowledge, one should work. And thus, direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga. And the path of Gyan Yoga, which we get by Nishkam Karma Yoga, is a means to reach Bhakti Yoga. Then Prabhupada went on to explain the glory of Krishna consciousness. He says that the pure soul is entangled in matter. But Krishna consciousness is so wonderful that even while being within matter, one can cross material existence. How? By engaging everything. So Rupa Goswami has said that um, Yukta Vairagya principle, Anasaktasya Vishayan, Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. So that by engaging matter in the service of Krishna, one can cross beyond matter. So this is the wonderful formula which Prabhupada has told us, that even while being with matter, one can cross the matter by engaging everything in the service of Lord. And thus, the more one advance in Krishna consciousness, the more we will be freed from the conceptions of I and mine. Next. So Prabhupada has told, how can one attain the stage of Brahma Nirvana or the transcendental stage? So that is done by understanding, by doing the practical performance of duty in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada has given us so many practical performances, just like book distribution and preaching. In preaching also, congregational preaching, youth preaching, children's preaching. After that, he has given us fundraising also, prasadam distribution, so many books. So in this way, by giving so many festivals also, in this way, by giving so many practical activities in Krishna consciousness, by being engaged in that, one can attain to this transcendental stage. And thus, our acharyas have told that the lowest is among the three is Gyan Yoga, then greater than Gyan Yoga is Ashtanga Yoga, and greater than Ashtanga Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Because Bhakti Yoga is the superset, or Ashtanga Yoga is the subset of Bhakti Yoga. Automatically, if one is performing Bhakti Yoga, he will get all the benefits of Ashtanga Yoga as a byproduct, and he will get much more. And the one of the best example is Amrish Maharaj. By engaging all his senses, his eyes, his nostrils, his body, his legs, everything in the service of Lord, he has automatically got all the benefits of Ashtanga Yoga and much more than that. Next. So, next, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, this is the chapter summary of this chapter. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai, beautiful. Is Gita Rahasyam kya?
Hi, yes, Prabhuji, from Gita Amrit Bindu, Radhesham Prabhu.
Jai Gita Amrit Bindu. Hari Bol. You can share that summary wala's photo with all. That snapshot of all that summary wala, no? Later you can
Yes,
share with all on the
Yes.
group. Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Beautifully, Sridhar Maharaj, Sridhar Swami's commentary, Navishana Chakri Thakur's commentary, Shri Prabhupada's explanation. So the initial part which you spoke was very nice. So this shloka, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, we hear this peace formula so many times. It is speaking about, okay, if you want to be karmi means enjoyership mentality. So he said enjoyership mentality is still the goal of your life should be me only, because I'm the enjoyer. Okay, then somebody said Gnani, he wants to become God or proprietor. And I said, if you want to become Gnani, still the goal of your life should be me only, proprietor. I am supreme proprietor. Now somebody may say, no, no, actually I am Dhyani. I want to control. I'm the Ashtang Yogi. Want to control? I am the supreme controller. So he said, no matter who you are, if you understand this thing, that I am the proprietor, enjoyer, controller, he said such a person will attain peace. So in any path of yoga, whether whichever path it is, somebody wants to be peacefully doing bhakti and very. So he said, this means what? That the ultimate goal of all the paths is attaining Shri Krishna. So he said, proprietor, enjoyer, controller, Saraloka Mahesham. So, and Krishna is the well-wishing friend of everyone. So, whichever path one is, the best friend you can have in this path is Lord Shri Krishna. So he said, if having known this, one can peacefully practice. So this is Shanti Mantra. We can say San Shanti Mantra. So now, as the chapter is going to the sixth chapter now, so again Krishna will speak again about same thing, that which you see in the every chapter Krishna begins with which yoga is better, because initially he wants to encourage Arjun to fight. He wants to encourage Arjun to fight. So again and again, Krishna is speaking about that. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So the first few verses, again Krishna is speaking about there is no difference between karma yogi and sannyasi. Don't worry too much. Even if it is what we say, one should not abruptly give up his karmas just to take renounced order of life. So he said, continue performing duty. Don't suddenly give up on that. Okay, you want to take sannyas, you want to become a dhyan yogi, ashtang yogi. Don't any path you want to do. Don't suddenly give up. So he said, continue performing your duty, obligatory duties. So, okay, we'll recite this first verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashrita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sa Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha Na Nir Agnir Na Chakriya. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashritaha. Don't take shelter. Anashrita, which don't take shelter. Ashrita means shelter, and anashrita means don't take shelter. Of what? कर्म फलम. कर्म फल का शेल्टर मत लीजिए. जब भी आप कोई योगा पद्धति कर रहे हो या कोई भी काम कर रहे हो, कर्म फलम के पीछे मत भागो कि ये कर्म करके मुझे क्या मिलेगा. So if your shelter is the karma phala, then you will not be happy. You will not be satisfied in your life. He said, Karyam karma karoti ha. He said, do it as a matter of duty. Do all your karmas as a matter of duty. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na agnir na chakriya. So he said, this is the definition of sannyasi. And this is the definition of yogi. Okay, if you want to become sannyasi, if you want to become yogi, what you should do? First thing he said, Karyam karma karoti ha. So he said, not that not lighting the fire and not doing any activity is called a sannyasi or yogi. No, keep on doing your duty, but anashrita karma phalam. Anashritaha. Don't be too much after the results of the activity. So now somebody may say, Prabhu, if I am not after results of activity, I don't get impetus to perform work. Yeah, that is the karmi mentality. But we have to rise above this. Let me do my duties nicely for the pleasure of Lord. Understanding that ultimate goal is Krishna is proprietor, Krishna is enjoyer, Krishna is controller. With this thought in mind, let me do the duties. I am not enjoyer. Generally, we find that when we get some results which are very favorable, we become very excited. And when we don't get good results, we become very frustrated. And we think, let me give up the work only. I'm not getting any benefit from this. So, okay, someone can read the translation, Purport?
Yes, translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his works and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of the life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Purport. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of the Eightfold Yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although Eightfold Yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of the Karma Yoga or acting in Krishna consciousness is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self interest, some personal gratification. To be concentrated or extended, the criterion of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with view to enjoying the fruits of the work. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutively parts and parcel of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self satisfaction but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for the satisfaction of the Supreme Whole and not for personal satisfaction is a perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think they that they have become liberated from all material duties, and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotri Yajnas, fire sacrifice. But actually they are self-interested because the goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without the self-interest. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half open eyes, ceasing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole, without self interest. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self satisfaction. His criterion of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way. न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगद्गीश्वर कामय मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवात् भक्ति अहेतुकी त्वयि. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor I do want any number of followers. What I want only is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth.
Prabhuji, mic mute.
So the title of this shloka is You Can Work is better, but work without attachment to the results. So he said this is the criteria of perfection in Krishna consciousness. That the fruits of the work are meant for Krishna, not for us. If you know this nicely, work with full enthusiasm. So generally we find like many times as a working person, sometimes we get so bored. Oh, I don't want to go to company today. They're so boring. Oh, I don't want to go for book distribution. It's so boring. I don't know who will take a book. I don't feel like chanting today. I'm feeling too boring. So you see, everything is connected with our own sense pleasures and our satisfaction. But the bhakti means, like you see, you ask many people, householders also, those who are now married since last 25, 30, 40 years, or somebody, after few years, now it becomes really so boring to go to job every day, earn the money, and do the same work. When we are newly joined a company, first 4, 5 years, it becomes very great excitement. After 8, 10 years, 15 years, you see, it becomes a routine of the life. Go to the job, do the same work, and that too in IT just do the same work, go do bugging, do some coding, solve the issue. It appears so boring and there is not joy. But then a person has to transcend it and has to come to the platform of duty. Even in the material work, one has to give up the attachment to the results and be focused on duty. Then he can go on. Similarly, in bhakti or in the path of yoga also, one should be very clear. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us that's why in after all our endeavors of doing bhakti, the goal is na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. So generally, if you don't know what to pray, like you go to Tirupati Balaji, you go to any dham or any holy place, and if no prayer in your mind, if you don't have any special prayer to offer, this prayer we can recite again and again. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye. मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्ति अहेतुकी त्वयि अहेतुकी त्वयि. I want your causeless mercy, Krishna, birth after birth. So this is the one of the most beautiful prayers which we can offer anywhere where we go. So this is so the sixth chapter is mainly going to speak about how to deal with our mind, because in the path of yoga, the dealing with mind and the controlling mind is going to be very important. And so don't abruptly give up the path of karma and taking suddenly to the path of ashtanga yoga. So that is what being spoken in the 6.1. Okay, 6.2. Yanyasam. Okay, I'll share. यम संन्यासम इति प्राहुर योगम तम विधि पांडव नहीं असन्यासत कल संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन.
Translation: what is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme, O son of Pandu. For one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Purport: the real sannyas yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate, independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the Lord. When he is entrapped by material energy, he is conditioned, and when he is Krishna conscious or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the senses from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses, as prescribed in the Jnana and Yoga processes, is automatically served in the Krishna consciousness. If one is unable to give up the activities of selfish nature, then Jnana and Yoga are of no avail. The real aim is the real aim is for a living entity to give up all self-satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for kind of self-enjoyment. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self-satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. All purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness.
Yes, so the first shloka spoke about what is the definition of a real sannyasi and what is the definition of yogi. And second shloka is speaking about actually yoga and sannyas both are same only. Don't get too much confused. Yoga and sannyas both are same because detached action is same as renunciation. Any action done in detached spirit is same as renunciation. That is being spoken here. So detached action equal to uh, renunciation. So now, what is meaning of sannyas? Sannyas means to be fixed in jnana, and by stopping the functions of senses, renouncing the results of actions. And yoga means to have a mind which is not agitated by thirst to enjoy sense objects. Therefore, both mean the same. Yoga means not to be disturbed by sense objects and to have a fixed mind. And sannyas means what? Stop the functions of senses and renounce the results of actions and be focused. So ultimately, both have same the goal. So now, in the third and the fourth shloka, which are going to come now, there are different levels of Ashtang Yoga which are being mentioned. Because as he started the topic of yoga, so now he is going to speak about there are different levels of Ashtanga Yoga. So, what are the different levels of Ashtanga Yoga? So, there are two levels of Ashtanga Yoga. One level is called as Yoga Aruruksha Yoga. Yoga Aruruksha. That is called as beginning stage of yoga. And when somebody is an advanced person, then that is called as Yoga Arudha Yoga. So I don't know whether you understood this. So two stages of yoga. One is called as, okay, let me share. So yoga has two parts. You can see like this. So two parts of yoga is called as yoga aruruksha. This is the like a lower staircase of yoga. Hmm? And what is the higher staircase? Yoga arudha. So these are the two levels of performing yoga. So what is meaning of yoga aruruksha? Yoga aruruksha yoga. What is the meaning of this? So this is called as beginning stage. So what is the beginning stage? Continue performing your duties. Continue performing your duties of Nishkama Karma Yoga, and slowly, you will cultivate detachment, and then you will become ahead in the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. So he said, gradually continue performing duties. Are not given up here. Your duties are not given up here. Continue. So more the way one continues his duties and performs yoga, slowly, what will happen? He will go ahead, and then he will come to the platform of yoga aruda stage. Now, when one is completely purified of all material desires, then he can give up Nishkam Karma Yoga completely and then practice Ashtanga Yoga exclusively. So he said, so this is for a perfected person. Yoga Aruda. Perfected person means what? Now he doesn't have to do any kind of duty. He can just do his he can just do his pranayam, anulom, vilom, this, that, and he can just simply meditate as a Paramatma yogi, and he's a perfected being. No kind of work is done. Here, yoga aruksha means the duties are done. Now, when so in this two steps, there are Ashtanga Yoga means there are 8 steps. There are 8 kinds of steps which are mentioned uh, in the Ashtanga Yoga. I think our Vivek Prabhu was also showing that day in the PPT. So, was first stage is called as Yama, second is called as Niyama, third is called as Asana, fourth is called as Pranayam, fifth is called as Pratyahar, sixth is Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. So these are the 8 angas of Ashtanga Yoga. So, so what is the purpose of all this? So he said, uh, to go from Yoga Aruksha stage to Yoga Rudha stage, there is a need of a detachment. Keep on performing duties, be detached from results, and also there is a need of a mind control. The mind control has to become very strong. Especially yogis need a very strong mind control. So he said mind control has to become very strong and detachment has to become very strong. Then comes to the Yoga Ruda platform. So the verse number 5 to 6 onwards, they are going to speak about uh, the mind, because mind plays a very important role. So we'll read the shloka third and fourth, and then we'll go ahead. Someone can read third and fourth.
Yes,
आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव समकारणमुच्यते.
translation. For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. Purport. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into 3 parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called Yoga Ruruksha stage, and the highest rung is called Yoga Arudha. Concerning the Eightfold Yoga system, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercises, are considered productive material activities. All such activities lead to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. A Krishna conscious person, however, is situated from the beginning on the platform of meditation because he always thinks of Krishna. And being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activity.
So basically, if you want to advance on the path of yoga, then the detachment has to increase and mind control has to increase. The sense control has to increase. So, but Prabhupada is again and again telling the Krishna conscious person is always thinking of Krishna. So he has already attained that stage because he's always engaged in service of Krishna. So he has given up all kinds of material activities. So detachment from material activities, detachment not from Krishna, detachment from material activities and more engagement in Krishna activities. But a devotee is directly on the topmost layer of ladder because he's always rendering service to Krishna. So that is why Krishna consciousness. So okay, fourth one. यदा हीनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मसु अनुसज्जते सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदुच्यते.
A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he acts neither for sense gratification nor engage in fruitive activities. When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must engage in sense gratification since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desire before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder.
Yeah, so this work is Vishwanath Tagore writing. This verse is speaking about characteristics of a person who has attained steady meditation. So this is a stage of a person who has completely pure heart. सो कंप्लीट जो अष्टांग योग में एकदम परफेक्शन प्राप्त किया है योगा रूढ़ा उसका ऐसा कॉन्शियसनेस रहता है कि he has renounced all material desires. That is the topmost platform, yoga रूढ़ा. So now there is a one very big challenge which comes in the life of a sadhaka in the matter of his practicing yoga. What is that? That is the biggest trouble creator is the mind of a person. So it is said mind is the biggest trouble creator in the life of every sadhaka. So Prabhupada mentions many times mind is considered to Krishna also says mind is like both friend of a person and even his enemy. One has to learn to deliver the mind with the help of soul. So one should deliver the soul with the help of mind. Sorry. One should deliver the soul with the help of mind and not degrade. Nowadays people degrade themselves with the help of their mind. Like I remember sometimes you see the mind has such a tendency, if it hooks into sense gratification, it can make mess out of the life of a person. Now, like sometimes person he watches something or he hears something and mind becomes attached to that. So it is said the uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy in the life of sadhaka, and one has to learn to control his mind. So in any path of yoga, the mind plays the most important role. So what is the symptom of a person who has controlled mind, or what is the symptom of a person who is perfected ashtanga yoga? So he said the first symptom is he has controlled mind, he is very peaceful, and he is completely absorbed in super soul, and he has complete shastric knowledge. So there are many symptoms. There are 10 symptoms which are being mentioned of a person who is perfection in yoga ruda stage. The person who has attained Ashtanga Yoga, the topmost ladder of Ashtanga Yoga. So there are 10 symptoms which are being mentioned in this chapter. That these 10 symptoms are there, then you can think that one has attained the perfection. But somebody may say, Prabhu, these symptoms are too high. So, is there any sadhana? Like we know there are sadhaka and the perfected devotee. So, in the path of Ashtanga Yoga, also there is a sadhaka. Sadhaka means at the level of sadhaka also you see some certain symptoms, and at the level of perfection as a being a pure devotee, you see certain symptoms. So, the shloka is also going to speak about what is a sadhana which Ashtanga Yoga person has to perform. what kind of breathing, what kind of living, what kind of acting, how we should do asanas. So this chapter is going to speak about Ashtanga Yoga in detail, that what all asanas we should perform, what kind of food we should eat to control the mind, how much we should sleep, how much we should not sleep, and yuktahara viharasya. So this is all going to come in this sixth chapter. And once somebody attains perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, then what all symptoms and what all realizations he will keep on getting. And so different. So and in case even while practicing the Ashtanga Yoga path, your mind goes away here and there, then try to bring your mind back. Bring the mind back, because mind will keep on roaming here and there. But you have to bring the mind back again on the meditation. So this all chapter is speaking about and how a yogi will see Krishna in the heart. How a yogi actually should see Paramatma in his heart, because this is Ashtanga Yoga. So he will see Paramatma not only in his heart, but he will see Paramatma in everyone's heart. And who is the best of all yogi? And but now then Arjuna hears all this description, and Arjuna starts feeling, Krishna, whatever you spoke, na, it really appears impractical. Even I could not understand it. Forget the question about practicing it. Some of you also might not have understood till now what I've spoken. So don't worry. Arjuna also did not understand. So Arjuna is telling, I could not even understand what all things you spoke. Yoga, ruksha, yoga, rodha, yam, niyam, dharana. क्या आप बोल रहे हो, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है सब चीजें. So Arjuna said, मेरे लिए बहुत impractical लग रहा है ये. My mind is so chanchal that I cannot. Chanchal hi mana Krishna. Pramati balavadhranam. So he said, I don't know how to control the mind. And then Krishna gives method. Abhyasena tu kaunteya Yate. It is possible. It is possible to control the mind by practice. One needs a practice to control the mind. And if this mind control is most important thing in the path of yoga. Krishna is concluding with this. So he said, so then now Arjuna may say, Arjuna starts feeling, Krishna, that I understood one thing, that mind control is very important. Suppose I take to the path of Dhyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, but after some years, I understand that almost it is impossible for me. I should go to Karma Yoga again. I'm not able to do Dhyana Yoga or any kind of yoga. And now I give up sense control. I give up sense gratification. I was failure in both. I became failure in material life also, and I became failure in spiritual life also. Because after few years I understood, अरे ये सब पॉसिबल नहीं है, जपा बपा पॉसिबल नहीं है, माइंड कंट्रोल करना ऑलमोस्ट पॉसिबल इम्पॉसिबल लग रहा है मुझे, सेंसेस कंट्रोल नहीं होते मेरे से, मुझे इम्प्रैक्टिकल लग रहा है. तो मेरा क्या होगा कृष्णा, मेरा क्या होगा कालिया कृष्णा. वी डोंट से हम बोलते हैं ना, मेरा क्या होगा कालिया, तेरा क्या होगा कालिया कृष्णा. So Arjuna is asking like this. So he said, sorry, Krishna mercifully starts speaking about what is the destination of a fallen yogi. Even if somebody takes to the path of yoga, he doesn't attain perfection, then what is the destination he will attain? So the last section of this chapter is speaking about what if you cannot perfect the path of yoga? What is the result you will gain in your life? So he will become rich person, he will become Brahmana, he will become Vaishnava. So that is so don't worry. And Krishna says the last shloka of this chapter is that the best of all yogi is the one who is Bhakti Yogi. And then it will transit to the next section of seventh chapter will begin with Bhakti Yoga. So the best of all yogis is Bhakti Yogi. Sixth chapter, I just gave you a brief idea that how we are going to start. So just what we'll do is we'll just take one shloka for today. That is the fifth shloka about mind. And then tomorrow onwards we'll complete the next week we'll cover the mind series, the mind problem. Yeah. Okay, just one shloka will take. Fifth one. Yes, bro. उद्धरेदात्ममात्मानं नात्मानम् अवसादयेत् आत्मैव हि आत्मनो बन्धुर् आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः.
One one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and is enemy as well. Purport. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to withdraw it away from the attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. In the material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the object, influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by the attraction to the sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense object, the more one becomes entangled in the material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point that one must do this. It is also said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo bandhaya vishaya sangho muktai nirvishayam manaha. For the mind, for man, mind is the cause of bondage, and the mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in the sense object is the cause of the bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in the Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation.
Yeah. So Uddaret Atmatmanam. So he said one should deliver himself with the help of his mind. Don't degrade our life with the help of mind. So it is up to us. We can make our mind our friend or we can make our mind our enemy. So Shri is telling the best way to disentangle mind is to always keep it in Krishna consciousness. Shri is writing here where it is written. The best way to disentangle mind is to always keep it busy in Krishna conscious activity. So today's Ekadashi, and Ekadashi is another, Ekadashi affords us an opportunity, gives us an opportunity to be more Krishna conscious by chanting more nouns, remember Lord, to water Tulsi, do reading, more reading, hearing, to increase our devotional activities today. So let's celebrate this Ekadashi and disentangle ourselves from the engagements of mind and senses and engage our mind in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have 5 minutes. In case someone has any question, we can take one question. Okay, so no questions. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhu bhyavatsa patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.